Today, I really want to focus on why we are unable to regulate social media for kids. Our congressional leaders are too old. The Senate is older than it has ever been in the history of the American Republic. Chuck Grassley, who is on the Judiciary Committee, which is tasked with overseeing social media, is 90 years old. Now, I'm sure Chuck is a good guy, or at least I'm just going to assume that to be nice. But do we really think someone who is over 90 years old, who, when he was born, there wasn't even a color TV in the house? How's Chuck supposed to understand what it's like to try to keep your kids away from screens? I mean, when Chuck was born, most people lived on farms. The personal computer wouldn't be invented for another 42 years, and the walkie-talkie was cutting-edge technology. I mean, am I really supposed to believe Chuck can grasp how the algorithm goes out and targets girls with low self-esteem on Instagram and pushes extreme dieting tips at them and slowly pushes them more and more towards developing an eating disorder? Now, I don't mean to knock Chuck specifically. This isn't about being Republican or Democrat. This is about leaning into biology. I am on team biology. The brain does not function as well in your 80s and your 90s as it did in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, even your 60s and your 70s. It is ridiculous that we have people like Dianne Feinstein who are literally dying on the job. These aren't our most competent elders. These are people who have captured power through a rigged electoral system and gerrymandering, and they're benefiting from a system in which old people vote and young people don't. Now, young people have to take responsibility for that one. I mean, anybody that's under the age of 30 needs to get out there and vote. It makes a real difference, and not just in presidential elections, but in all elections, especially the local stuff and the state stuff. So what's wrong with social media? Want more views and comments on your posts? Say something divisive and untrue. MIT showed us in a study that lies spread 6 times as fast as the truth does on social media. A 600% increase. If you make something up like boys are becoming more feminine because of triglycerides in milk, people will comment on that. Some people will say, you have no idea what you're talking about. Triglycerides are in milk, you have no basis of understanding here, but they are commenting. And then you get the other side where somebody chimes in, they go, yeah, I know, like that's what happened to my cousin. And as this nonsense spreads and more comments build, the algorithm takes it and amplifies it to more people. So the fact that it is false and upsetting and divisive actually helps it to spread. Our kids are crying out for help. Over the last 10 years, as social media has really taken off, we've seen exponential increases in anxiety, self-harm, suicide, depression, all amongst young people. I mean, if you just look around, do people seem more angry towards each other than they used to? Social media has taught us that while sex sells, the slow drip of rage converts. Meta has 24 lobbying teams working full-time on their behalf to make sure that social media doesn't get regulated. And I've got something here for Mark Zuckerberg, here it is. There you go, Mark. And listen, if any of this isn't true, Mark, please come on my podcast. I would love to talk to you. I'm happy to talk to anybody, especially people that I don't necessarily agree with. And if the truth is any different, let me know. I want to hear about it. But the good news is the will of the people can override the profit motive of Mark Zuckerberg. America has done this before. From child labor to breaking the stranglehold that tobacco firms used to have on government, we can defeat things that are bad for our kids when we band together and decide it's the right thing to do. So for me, it's time to get this done. Let's talk about it. Let's get together and let's make this happen. Until next time, ask questions, don't accept the status quo, and be curious.